Hi, my name is Roseann Bruns, and I'm excited to talk to you today about how I plan on creating a sense of belonging for all stakeholders in a school. To me, it's all about the relationships. When you're showing people that you care about them by listening to them and respecting them, it's going to automatically build morale. When you're forming these relationships, it's going to increase grades and decrease discipline because they feel safe and they know that they're being respected, therefore, they'll respect you in return. The first thing I'd like to talk to you about is how I am going to create that sense of belonging in my staff and teachers. The very first thing we should do is to always come in with a smile and greet them with a warm hello. We need to make sure that we're always putting that positivity forward because that's the way you want to start your day. I think it's important to attend department and team meetings. That allows me to listen to their needs, to know exactly how I can best support them and help them to be the very best that they can be in their classrooms. I think it's important to be visible in the hallways because that allows me the chance to get to know them on a more personal level because sometimes you get to have those more candid conversations and talk to them about what they did that night before and what their plans are about their kids, things like that. One thing I really want to start incorporating is to do some teacher highlights on social media and in newsletters. I think it's important to celebrate all the wonderful things that are going on in our classrooms and in our buildings. And so I would like to promote that to our community by putting that on social media. I also think it's important to highlight some of those special teachers, some important things that they're doing in their classrooms. So what I would plan on doing is in the faculty newsletter, I would highlight one specific teacher each week. It allows the staff to get to know them better, more on a more personal note, and it allows me to share some important things that they're doing in their classrooms. So I would even let the teacher type up some things, I would type up some things, and I would post a little picture for them. One thing that I also want to incorporate is focus groups. I think it's important to have focus groups because you can have different focus groups which allow more people to become leaders in their building, as well as make sure that everybody's voices are being heard. Some examples of focus groups could be advisory focus groups to talk about a class homeroom, things like that, or advisory setting. So that way we know what kinds of things need to be in there. And also from a safety perspective, there can be a safety focus group to allow us to know where we need to improve to make sure that we are the best we can be in an emergency situation. One of the favorite ones that I want to incorporate is called a staff morale focus group. This would allow teachers to kind of plan activities that they can participate in outside of the school setting. I know sometimes when I was in the classroom, you kind of get stuck in your own little setting in your own group. And so I think it's important to branch out and to allow opportunities for these teachers to see each other outside of the classroom setting and to get to meet people that are across the building from them. So we could have Christmas parties, bonfires, mini golf outings, things like that. Lots of different activities that we can do just to kind of socialize and to get to know each other better. Another important thing are called PD carousels. There are so many fantastic teachers in each building that are doing wonderful things. And instead of hiring a presenter to come in, why not share what we're doing in our classroom? Let others get to see that. As principals and administrators, we get to go into those classrooms and see some of those wonderful things. But because those other teachers are teaching in their own classroom, they don't get to witness it. So I think it's very important for them to get to share those with the other teachers, gives them opportunities to be a leader and to showcase their expertise with others, as well as share those ideas. Why reinvent the wheel when they're doing wonderful things now, and let them get to see some of those wonderful things and ideas that they may not have thought about before. The next group I'd like to talk about are students. There's different ways that I can help them make sure that they have a sense of belonging, and that is to make sure that there's lots of different clubs and a variety of activities for them to participate in, both before school and after school. This can be music clubs, it can be art clubs, it can be leadership clubs, for example, FBLA, student council, it can be game clubs. Different people have so many different interests. I want to make sure that they all have a place. Sometimes the best way to find that out is from our students. Have a student leadership committee help us to come up with ideas. This allows students who transfer in to be able to meet new people. It allows people from other buildings to kind of get to know everything that they're excited about and interested in and form those relationships together. You can even do it building to building. One middle school could have a game night with another building, things like that. So it allows different friendships to form. Another thing that's important is to be visible both in school and out. I think it's important to be very visible in the hallways, one, for safety reasons, and two, to make sure you're having those candid conversations. Give those high fives, those handshakes, and things like that. I think it's important to not only greet those teachers when they come in the building, but I think it's important to greet students. Students need that interaction, and I think it's very important for us to show that. And even as an administrator, I think it's important for me to be visible and to form those relationships, because when I show them that respect and that care, then they're going to be more respectful and caring back to me when I have to, unfortunately, have those tough conversations. I also think it's very important to see them outside of the school. I want to see them play their sports or play their instruments and sing their songs. I think that's a very neat way to get to approach them when they come back to school the next day. I saw what you did. That shows that, hey, I care. And so I think that's very important to be visible both inside school and out. I do think it's important to greet those students as they come in, as they're coming out from lunch, things like that. Make sure I get a sense of who they are, so that way if they're having a bad day, I know it and I can approach them about it. It's important for me to get to know them on those different levels, so that way I know what I'm looking for. I think it's very important to celebrate students and their differences. And I think that there's lots of different ways we can do that. By having those different clubs and highlighting them, whether it's on social media or whatever, I think it's very important, because they have that sense of pride. They get to share that with their family members that can't be at school that day, and they get to show them all the wonderful things that they're doing. And so I think it's very neat to be able to celebrate students and their victories. The most important place for the students to have that sense of belonging is in the classroom. Therefore, one of the most important parts of an administrator's job is to help guide their staff to be able to best promote that sense of belonging in their own classrooms. Throughout my 19 years of teaching, I've learned many techniques and strategies that I've used to build relationships over the years. But I think as an administrator, the most important thing you can do is to utilize your own staff and veteran teachers and how they promote those relationships and how they build those relationships, and teach that to other teachers. Share their expertise. And it's also important for teachers to understand that there's lots of different ways that students learn. So one of the ways that they can help a child is to give student learning surveys and to allow options or choice for the different assignments. By learning those different techniques and the best way that each of those students learn in their classrooms, it allows them to know how to present and collect information effectively. It also, by giving choice, it allows a student to showcase their own interests and their own talents, not only to the teacher, but to the class. It shows that class a diverse type of learning. It allows them to see things from different viewpoints and find different ways to problem solve ideas. The most important way that I feel like a teacher and a student can learn is by having student learning conversations and peer interaction activities. Students actually retain material best when they're teaching others. It also allows them to learn patience, and it teaches them that all students learn differently. So it gives them a broader spectrum of education when they're having those interactions, and allows them to retain and remember that information better. The last group that I'd like to touch on is how I'm going to improve the sense of belonging to our parents and our community. Parents absolutely love to brag on their own children and to celebrate all of their successes. Why not celebrate the successes of our own building by promoting it on social media as well? This allows us to give an inside look on all of the wonderful things that we're doing, and it allows parents to share this with their own friends and family members across the globe. I think it's important for parents to have newsletters given to them 3 to 4 times a semester. This allows them to have important dates. It allows them to see all of the things that we're doing in our building, and we can even have student group and teacher spotlights to allow them to get to know some of the different things that we offer and to know our staff better. Parent focus groups are a great way to get a true vision of what we're doing in our building. By having a diverse set of parents, we can actually talk to them and see if what we're doing is being successful or if we have room for improvement. It gives us a true vision of what we're doing, and so that allows us to know where we need to make changes. Parent volunteers and community member volunteers are a very important part of our school. It allows them that interaction with our students, and it also gives our students interactions and to see all of the different people that we have in our community and the wonderful things that they're doing. It gives them a sense of what they might want to be when they grow up. And so by incorporating some of these different people into our school, not only do they get to see some of the positive things we're doing, but it also gets to share out some of the things that they're doing in their own businesses and their own homes. And that's brought into our own school community. There's lots of different things that we can do to build a sense of belonging in our school, and I'm super excited to get to have this opportunity to do this with all of our stakeholders. I've got a lot of wonderful things to share, and I can't wait to do that.